Well, hey there, and welcome to another episode of the After Hours Chats podcast. I am here with another really cool independent filmmaker, and I look forward to chatting with you about your newest film, Beyond Mamushi, which I did do a review of not too long ago. And I personally enjoyed the film. And funny story, this interview is like 3 times a charm because for whatever reason, it was like we tried doing this 2 times, and this is the third time that we're attempting this interview. And it's like, I don't know, sometimes it's like, I don't know, the podcasting gods or whatever, like, I don't know, maybe they have another plan than we do, but yeah, but third time's a charm, and who knows, maybe it's meant to be like that, because I don't know, maybe this will be the best one. So but yeah, how about, I'd love for you to introduce yourself to the listeners, and what it is you do, and a little bit about the film, and your role in the film.
Okay, my name's M.W. Daniels, or Martin Daniels. I wrote, directed, produced Beyond Mamushi, as well as doing the casting and composing all the music. And yeah, I come from a background of kind of metal music and hardcore punk, and maybe extreme electronic music. And yeah, I've been a filmmaker for 16 years, yeah.
Yeah, oh, very cool. Yeah, and how did the idea for Beyond Mamushi come about? Because like I said, I really enjoyed the film. It really touched on some topics that definitely need to be discussed and talked about more, and which I appreciated. And I also appreciated, your kind of forthright yet sensitive approach to it too. So I'd love to know more about what how it came about, and the process that it took to have it come to life.
Well, every podcast I do, and I'm grateful to every podcast that I do and the cast do, has a different answer to that question, because it has multiple reasons for existing. I suppose one of the reasons is I wanted to write something that was cruel, and I wanted to write something that was unfair. They were the two elements for me. And also wanted to write a psychological horror film,
Yeah.
and blending those elements. And, maybe halfway through the script, I got that kind of realization. Maybe realization is not a really good word for it, but things kind of dawned on me more so that, a lot of friends have gone through psychological and physical abuse, unfortunately. Right. So I wanted to kind of write something like this, but I didn't, because it's a subject that I don't really want to go near. So it's a challenge for me to write this kind of subject, definitely.
Yeah. But and like I said, I enjoyed your approach to it. Well, I should say I appreciated your approach to it and everything, because because you showed just how devastating something like that could be, while at the same time also like I said, kind of approaching it with like sensitivity, and really just really making, at least this is the effect that it had on me when I was watching Beyond Mamushi, was just really depicting and showing and making me, the viewer, just really feel her isolation. And because and the thing was like, because when we open up the film, we see the young couple who, like, they seem like they're very much in love, and then everything just kind of like, we cut to like sometime later, and then obviously things are not so good anymore. And 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 it almost seems like two completely different people. So like kudos to the two actors,
Yeah,
for portraying that. Absolutely. And the thing too with Beyond Mamushi that also really, just grabbed me too was the fact that it was not just psychological,
yeah,
but also there seemed to be some supernatural elements too as well to it.
mm,
And that's another thing that I think really I think makes this film very unique. So are you a fan of like the supernatural, paranormal? Do you like believe in that stuff, or is it more of just kind of like a theory? Maybe yes, maybe no to you. What are your thoughts on that?
um, I suppose looking in the mirror every morning is, that's kind of paranormal, looking at this image is paranormal. It's ghostly, believe you and me. um no, it's kind of yeah, I've always have believed in it and stuff. This room, for instance,
Yeah.
possibly has elements of that,
Mhm.
so yeah, there's lots of different places I've stayed in over the years, friends' places that have had those elements, and different people with different stories, because it's always good to have those kind of campfire stories and people telling stories about what
Yeah.
they've seen or feelings or whatever it's going to be, with the
Mhm.
paranormal. So I wanted to kind of inject that into this film somehow, but I wanted to do it in a
Mhm.
very a kind of way where it's not obvious, just not an
Right.
obvious way, because it's so easy to use that stuff, obviously. And
Yeah.
I wanted to steer clear of all that obvious stuff and
Hmm.
try a different take on it,
Yeah.
and believe I succeeded, and not just me, the
Yeah.
cast and everybody who brought the film alive, including
Yeah.
Nikolai
Hmm.
Corman, who I
Those were
work
gorgeous
with.
stills that he made. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, and his cinematography is just so great. So, he done justice to that kind of subject matter
Hmm.
of supernatural and made it even more eerie for
Yeah.
the for the viewer, sort of thing. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, that's kind of it, really. I suppose those old films like The Haunting, the
Hmm.
1963 Robert Wise film,
Okay. Yeah.
a really kind of great film. Not the remakes or any of that rubbish, but the originals.
Yeah.
Um, I just think of The Innocents and films like that, where it's got a real kind of
Hmm.
they're old and they're very eerie. So I wanted to kind of use those as kind of inspiration as well.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I did. I definitely like caught some of that like older inspirations because there are times
Yeah.
in the film where it is very reminiscent of older films. And I also in some ways, especially the like the tone and the coloring used throughout the film, it was kind
Yeah.
of to me reminiscent of like some of the early 2000s, like The Ring and The
Oh,
Grudge and all and those types of films
okay.
too. Yeah, yeah. So I definitely yeah, it put me in the I was like, I'm in the mood to watch The Ring again. So
Okay.
but after seeing that, I was like, yeah, but it definitely kind of reminded me a little bit of those films too. Like I
Wow.
said, like The Ring, The Grudge, like those types of films,
That's
which
cool.
is which is a compliment because I do enjoy those films, absolutely. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but were there any like challenges in making Beyond Mamushi?
Finances,
Mhm.
always the biggest challenge in a film.
Yeah.
Um, I'd say the biggest challenge actually that overrides that is location.
Hmm.
So yeah, location, but we are lucky to get the locations sorted out really
Hmm.
early on.
Yeah.
And the finances, yeah, it
Mhm.
was slightly a struggle, but it always is, you have to go on a
Yeah.
hard road to make a good film. If it was going to be easy street, it's
Hmm.
normally rubbish. So
Hmm.
you kind of want to make it, it's got to be difficult. You want to make it difficult for yourself, like upping the
Yeah.
stakes and,
Hmm.
putting more money into it that I clearly haven't got.
Hmm.
So obviously, yeah, yeah, I think that location's probably the number one thing, and then finance. So apart from that, I wouldn't say it went swimmingly, but
There's
because every film
always
has
going to be a
got,
gremlin or two. Yeah.
yeah, it's not really that. It's kind of like, the prosthetics, was that going to
Mhm.
work or was it not going to work? And there was all these worries what I had, but I always worry, I mean, I worry just going to the sink and washing my face, so I worry about
Mhm.
fucking everything. So
Uh-huh.
I think with this, yeah, I worry quite a lot. With the next film, I actually probably won't worry as much. I'll be
Mhm.
concerned maybe on the next film. It's probably a
Yeah.
better way to be than just worried.
Mhm.
But learned a lot from this film to take
Mhm.
on to the next film,
Yeah.
and very proud of this film. We all are. We're all very
Yeah.
proud.
Absolutely, you should be, because, like I said, that was, it was a very well done film, and the jump scares, because there are a couple of jump scares, but
Right.
they are
Yeah.
very well done and very, well placed, and they were very effective, in how they were done. I
Yeah.
think, like it added just a touch of that, like that spook factor, which
Right.
I absolutely, really, really enjoyed. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and now you're also a musician and composer, and
Yeah.
you did all the music in the film in Beyond Mamushi.
Yeah.
So what is your process of music making, and especially when finding the right sound to complement the film and what's going on, and and all of that? Like,
Mm.
what is your process for that?
Well, the original soundtrack was scrapped. I used some elements of it on the next one because I'm just really critical about my own work. So I knew
Hmm.
I could do better than I did before. So yeah, it's kind of, I was kind of composing to a script,
Hmm.
really. Um, and that's what I was doing, and listening to a lot of Ligeti, especially
Hmm.
Requiem from 1965, which was from 2001
Hmm.
Space Odyssey. So I
Hmm.
love that piece of music, and just play it all the time. It's great. So that kind of got me inspired to kind of try and electronically create a choir,
Hmm.
which took a little while to work out how to do it, a little kind of strategy,
Hmm.
but it worked. So it's quite a varied soundtrack, actually. It's a bit
Yeah.
different than the previous film because the previous film was comedy, so I could get away with making
Oh.
every track very, very different. But when you've got a
Hmm.
psychological supernatural horror film,
Right.
it needs to kind of run kind of similar, in a way. You don't want really the Charleston in there or something like that. But
Yeah.
even though there is some 1940s music in there
Hmm.
that's actually license free, but I didn't include it on the soundtrack, and so it's only on the film because I
Hmm.
just think it wouldn't work on the soundtrack. And there's
Right.
most of the
Hmm.
stuff on the soundtrack isn't even in the film, didn't even make
Hmm.
it. But
Yeah.
all soundtracks are like that,
Yeah. Yeah,
you
but
know.
I thought it was a very good compliment. I thought the music did it, like it complemented each scene, but it wasn't like overpowering. It
No,
was just, it was just enough, but yet also subtle enough too, if that makes sense.
yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah.
It's
Mhm.
something I worked on quite heavily
Mhm.
over that year, really.
Mhm.
Worked really heavily on it and kept coming back to it and deleting things and going back again
Mhm.
until I could sit with a soundtrack that I was ready to send to Nikolai, and he put to the film. But yeah, it
Mhm.
took a long time to get to that stage.
Mhm.
Um, but it worked.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
works. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I'll definitely say that it worked. And so you said that you did a comedy before
Mm.
doing the horror film Beyond Mamushi. So
Yeah.
what's your comedy film?
That was called Lizzie Head.
Okay.
And it was about a kind of quite crazy woman who was looking for her father, who is in
Mm-hmm.
big conflict with her mother, and the
Okay.
mother hates the father. So it's kind of like, a nihilistic version of Fleabag, maybe, or Bridget Jones. It's been kind of
Uh-huh.
compared to those, like a darker version.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, we did really well with it. Won 6 awards. It got to the final at Cannes, the
Yeah.
monthly Cannes award. So yeah, it did really, really well. So I'm really proud of it. I was going to do a second one, but just
Mm-hmm.
decided to do Beyond Mamushi, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
Fortunately, glad I did.
Yeah. So was Beyond Mamushi, would you say that that was a little bit more of a challenge for you than Lizzie Head was?
Yeah, in a way. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
suppose Lizzie Head was because it was comedy.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot easier to kind of do, but this is so painful.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the kind of the acting's phenomenal from everybody, but
Yeah.
very painful, especially Karina Jane's acting,
Yeah.
because she's playing a really painful role. And as you
Mm-hmm.
can see, she makes you feel in pain watching her. And that's how good
Yeah.
she is as an
Yeah.
actor. She's a modern
Mm-hmm.
day genius. And,
Yeah.
she'll probably hate me for saying that, but that's my
Aw.
opinion. And I'll stick with it, I'll stick with it. I think she's
Yeah.
a brilliant, brilliant actor. So, yeah, I think Lizzie Air was easier, even though
Mhm.
Charlotte, again, another phenomenal actor.
Yeah.
Um, but comedy seems to be easier
Mhm.
than when you're doing this kind of psychological horror
Mhm.
film that's beyond
Yeah.
Mamushi. It's a lot more of a challenge because of the subject matter,
Mhm.
and it takes a real lot of rehearsal to get it the way you see it on screen.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. So, so what was like, what would you say was your like, what was the difference between your approach to like a comedy film like versus a horror film?
Um, there are kind of horror elements in Lizzie Head. There's been
Yeah.
people have said that, and there is one part in it that's like that slightly, yeah. But
Mhm.
apart from that, the rest of it is just really nihilistic, kind of crazy, over the top comedy
Yeah.
with lots of sex and swearing literally every other second. There's a swear word the whole way through the 36 minutes, and I wanted to do something like that. I really wanted to, but
Mhm.
this is a lot more difficult to make this kind of film as the film we just made. But even the
Mhm.
soundtrack, as I said, is a lot more difficult in a way.
Yeah.
Lizzie Head was a challenge, but a lot of the Lizzie Head soundtrack I had knocking
Mhm.
around on files on my computer, and I was thinking, oh, that might be good. This may be good to use. But with
Mhm.
Beyond Mamushi, it was a completely clean sheet of
Yeah.
making new music, so it was a much
Mhm.
more harder challenge. And
Mhm.
again, I had to kind of go looking for inspirations like Ligeti,
Mhm.
and like Hilda Gudnatar, who did
Mhm.
Chernobyl, and she did Joker, the two Joker
Mhm.
soundtracks. So I kind of really inspired by her. And there's one track on the film
Mhm.
that you will notice that is very, very like her
Mhm.
kind of music, because I'm just really into the way she uses big
Mhm.
drums and strings, and I made this piece of music. I made
Yeah.
it just not even for Beyond Mamushi, but that was
Mhm.
the only outsider track. I would call it an outsider track that I brought in
Oh.
and thought we can use this. This will be great for this scene.
Mhm.
Um, so I think every film has its challenges. Every film I've done from the early
Mhm.
days to now, everything's a learning process and
Mhm.
everything has its challenges.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. But but that's the thing though too. Like with each project, you take what you learn from there, and then you can apply it to the next one. So, was there
Yeah.
anything that you took from Lizzie Head that you applied to Beyond Mamushi?
Not really, no. Maybe the kind of things that I regretted about Lizzie Head. and thought,
Really?
I'm not going to make that mistake again.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all those kind of things. And
Yeah.
even though Lizzie Head's a brilliant film,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot in it I can see fault with, and it's not the acting; it's probably my
Right.
directing. So yeah, well, So I think for me, when it comes to this film, even
Mm-hmm.
the early days, me and the actors were discussing about direction, and they were
Yeah.
thinking it should go this way, and they were right about. I mean, they were very
Mm-hmm.
right, and Karina had a big hand in writing some bits and pieces in the film.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a great creative mind, and
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm very open. I'm not very elitist about my scripts. If a
Mm-hmm.
actor's got an idea and it works, it goes
Mm-hmm.
in.
Yeah.
So, but I think yeah, the things that I kind of regretted about Lizzie Head, I tried not to
Mm-hmm.
make that same mistake twice on this
Yeah.
film. Yeah, but that would
Yeah.
happen again on the next film. There'd be things about this film I'd regret and think, But to be honest with you, I'm
Mm-hmm.
100% happy with this film. It's the first film in 16 years that I've been 100% happy with.
Mm-hmm.
We've done a premiere to 130 people, and I'm
Yeah.
really happy to do that. With Lizzie Head, maybe it's about 85% or
Mm-hmm.
90% confident. There's 10% in there that I'm really not confident about to play in front of
Yeah.
people and maybe
Mm-hmm.
sink in my seat. But with this, play it to anybody and be proud that they're in the room watching it.
Yeah.
And I think it would stand the test of time, this film, for me
I
personally. For me
yeah.
personally.
Yeah, and you guys have had some pretty successful screenings and some
Yeah.
like award wins, and yeah, like tell a little about that.
Yeah, we won Best Feature at the Dunwich Horror
Hmm.
Fest, it's called, and that was in February. And then
Yeah.
we won, I think it's the New York Film Festival, and
Mhm.
we won Best Feature at that. And then Karina won Best Actress at the Vampires of New Jersey Horror
Yeah.
Film Festival. And just last night we got in a festival as well.
Cool.
So it seems to be goes quiet and something happens, and goes quiet and
Yeah.
something happens. I think it's
Yeah.
called the Cinema World Fest Awards we got into
Oh,
last night,
cool. Nice.
which I've never really heard of before, and
Hmm.
not that I keep up with what festivals are called, but
Yeah.
um, we was all just anybody that selects our film, we're all really happy as a team.
Hmm.
We're all a team. So we're all just really
Yeah.
happy when people do that, or people give it a
Hmm.
good review,
Yeah.
or stuff like that. Or if people give it a bad review, who cares?
Yeah. Hey, publicity's publicity. Sometimes even the bad
Exactly.
reviews will make people like, hey, I'm actually that piqued my curiosity.
Yeah, I'll go out and buy something on a bad review more than a good review.
Oh yeah, hey, some
Yeah.
people do that.
Yeah. So
Yeah, some people do that. So,
yeah,
um, but like now, Karina, who's a lead actress, she won for Best Actress at an award
yeah,
show, which is that's awesome and very well deserved. What was
yeah.
the casting process like for that for Beyond Mamushi?
Um, well, I've known Karina 16 years, so she was there
Hmm.
right at the beginning on my
Hmm.
first kind of short film.
Hmm.
And, you know, we've been friends over the years, and
Hmm.
she's been on and off in films where she's done films, and then, you know, she hasn't done films and stuff like that. A
Hmm.
lot of actors are like that, where their own lives are, they've got their own lives.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I think Gary come through Karina.
Hmm.
She worked with him before, so that was really good.
Hmm.
Um, and Stephen, I found on an agency. Gemma
Hmm.
Thompson, I was meant to work with on a film around
Hmm.
just before lockdown, but lockdown obviously fucked that all up. And I said to her, at the end of the day, please wait, because there'll be a role that's going to come along, and she's really
Yeah.
patient. And then it came along, and she was really happy. And Kathy Griffiths,
Mm-hmm.
was in Lizzie Head as Lizzie's mum, and she was
Cool.
also the clapperboard operator on Beyond Mamushi, as well as being the DI voice on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, some people go back to the beginning, some people I've met possibly in the
Mm-hmm.
middle, and some people are brand new, So
Yeah.
it's always kind of cool like that.
Yeah, yeah, and I thought like everybody seemed to work together really well. At least, from the perspective of me watching it,
Yeah,
So yeah, yeah, but
yeah.
that's awesome. So
Cool.
now, we talked about, going from Lizzie Head to Beyond Mamushi. Were there things that like maybe you learned from Beyond Mamushi that you're going to maybe apply to whatever your next film project might be?
Um, well, it's quite early days with Beyond Mamushi. It's quite,
Mhm.
it's not really old, for me to think
Yeah.
that yet. But I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. I don't think so. No, not yet.
Hmm.
There will be. I'll only know once I start writing the next script, and I'll look
Mm.
back at the script before, and then things like that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. There's always, as I say, there's always things you learn, no matter what the
Hmm.
film's going to be. It's never, as Nikolai taught me,
Right.
there's never a perfect film. There's never a perfect
Yeah.
anything.
Hmm.
So I think that for me to think there's a perfect film was a complete illusion on my part.
Yeah.
Um, so as you said, the painter has to put down the brush, I suppose, and the
Mhm.
painting's finished. You can't keep picking at it and going back to it, and it's just never going to end.
Right.
So I think with that, I've learned to be less of a pain in the ass than I used to be to Nikolai.
Hmm.
So many edits, and
Yeah.
which I kind of that's one thing I've kind of learned to really concentrate on the edit for a long amount of time and
Hmm.
stuff. But still, there was a lot in here that we had to go back, do bits and pieces, and that's
Hmm.
the way it is. Maybe I'll be more careful with money,
Mm.
which I
Hmm.
was. I learned that from Lizzie Head
Yeah.
onto Beyond Mamushi, but from Beyond Mamushi into whatever comes next, or if anything
Hmm.
does come next, I think the learning of money would be
Hmm.
even better, yeah, because that's always the worry. And I think to get locations before I start writing the script this
Hmm.
time, which I've never done. I've
Yeah.
always wrote the script, got locations, and wrote an upstairs scene, and there's no upstairs in the fucking like house, so I had to rewrite it when I get home. So this
Yeah.
time I want to kind of stop all that and
Hmm.
actually go to the locations early on this time, and take notes. So that's probably
Hmm.
one good thing I've learned from all of it. And maybe
Yeah.
have a bit of a better bank account next time, but there's
Okay.
probably no chance of that. No, it doesn't happen.
Hey,
Doesn't
never
happen.
say never.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, yeah, because sometimes it's just like those small details that can make a huge difference. Like you said,
Yeah.
like going to a location and saying, "Oh, hey, there's no upstairs," and I wrote the upstairs scene.
Yeah.
So do we change it, or do we just find a location that has a staircase and then just do a couple
Exactly.
shots of the actor going up the stairs or whatever, or do we just
Yeah.
change the script, and yeah, just like,
Exactly.
sometimes like, just planning out those things, can sometimes make a difference. And sometimes it is those small details that like get overlooked that in hindsight you're like, okay, yeah, I'll make sure that we do
That's the thing.
this thing. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, imagine me assuming that everybody's got a TV and then
Yeah.
writing maybe just scene after scene after scene about this TV, going to the location and we've got fucking TV. So that's the problem. Like, I need to sort of see it early on.
Right.
They might have like not even a kitchen, might like be a kitchenette or something. So
Yeah.
maybe like this tiny little bloody thing.
Hmm.
So I just need to see the layout, do
Hmm.
photographs and videos and
Right.
take it
Yeah.
all home and then look at all of it and then start mapping out this kind of
Mm-hmm.
strategy for a script in that specific location.
Uh-huh.
I think that's the sensible way of doing it this time round for me
Yeah.
personally, anyway. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
so other than just assuming people have got this and that, which nowadays clearly they
Not
haven't got
always.
that.
Yeah.
No, not many
Mm-hmm.
people have got TVs. They're kind of just
Mm-hmm.
off a laptop and stuff. So I don't know. You know, it's I'll have to see, but. Getting a location is a pain in the arse in itself, so there you
Mm-hmm.
go. I can't stress that enough that every indie filmmaker that's probably watching this, if they're watching this at all, because I'm on it, and like, you know, we won't watch it because he's on it. I'm sure that they would say that I'm correct in saying that it is
Yeah.
a huge pain in the arse to get
Yeah.
locations. It
To get
really is.
locations.
It's
Yeah.
awful. Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And sometimes it's like, yeah, you do have to work with what you got and adjust
Yeah.
things in the script because, I mean, and that can be hard because that script is your baby and you worked on it, and it's like, well, there's a reason why I wrote it this way. But
Exactly.
if it doesn't, quite compute to, whatever location you can get,
Yeah.
that's because sometimes it's like, if you have like friends who have like a cool looking business or something like that, and like they'll let you like film in there and everything, that's always a plus. And then you can just
Mhm.
kind of plan out writing the scenes and stuff ahead of time based around that.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're also looking for a very specific type of location too, which
Mm.
can, make things a bit challenging.
Yeah, it can. I mean, if we want to use prosthetics again, how are we going to do
Mm-hmm.
that in someone's house? So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, about
Yeah.
ruining the walls and carpet or whatever is in
Right.
the house. So that's the thing. Therein lies a problem right there.
Mhm.
So I want to use prosthetics again, and
Yeah.
the challenge is how, and I want to use them indoors this time.
Mhm.
How am I going to do it? You know,
Yeah.
so that's the challenge
Mhm.
of already of another film.
Mhm.
So there's always a way around these things, right? So I
Yeah.
think there's always
Mhm.
a way of doing it, and find a way. I'm sure somehow
Mhm.
anyway. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And as as a musician, like what have you done musically besides, scoring film?
Um, I've been in bands for a long time, not so much
Mhm.
now at all, but in the 80s and 90s and
Mhm.
yeah, maybe early 2000s, I was in bands and toured the States in 98, toured Europe in 99, um, was on a few record labels over the years, done lots of albums, lots of singles,
Mhm.
lots of EPs and all that stuff. Um, yeah, a lot of stuff, you know. Been doing a band
Mhm.
called Sisters Member for 6 years, like a black metal band, which is just kind of finishing now. Me
Mhm.
and Natalia have decided to finish that band. And I'm doing
Mhm.
like a hardcore punk band at the moment with a great singer called Jessa from the
Yeah.
States. And she's a great singer. And yeah, just starting that project. And my band
Mhm.
camp, for some reason, went really, really quiet. But
Mhm.
some person over the weekend just bought like £60 worth of my albums,
Oh,
like, you
hey, there
know,
you go.
in a few days, which is bizarre. So I bought like
Yeah.
5 albums and bought another five. And so that's given me the incentive to kind of go back on Bandcamp and upload new
Yeah.
albums now. And
Yeah.
every time I
Why
do
not?
that, it goes quiet again. So it's just like, what can you do?
Yeah.
But there
Yeah.
seems to be people that buy the stuff now. So there's also that, you know. And I kind of had the idea for the next soundtrack to just make music, make
Mhm.
maybe 30, 40, 50 pieces of music, and
Nice. Yeah.
and then just choose what I want to use. But not even before I wrote the script, just start
Mhm.
making different music and then pulling
Yeah.
bits out of that. And I kind of want to do that this time. So
Mhm.
I just think it's more of an interesting experiment to do,
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
you know.
music and just like creating music, creating a song, and, and telling stories through music and song. And, well, that's the thing, like, it's all a form of storytelling, whether it's in the form of, film or theater or, or music. I mean, it's all a form of, of storytelling, and, which is important. It's kept, passing down stories has kept civilizations alive for centuries. It's been a very big tradition, especially,
Should be on a t-shirt. You should put that on a t-shirt. That's a good point. There's some
yeah,
music with yourself as well,
yes,
which is exciting. I'm excited to work with you. That should be really
yeah, yeah.
interesting.
It's another thing too.
Yeah,
We're actually going to be working together on a music project, so you
yeah.
guys gotta stay tuned for that as well. So yeah, I'm super excited about that, because I liked the tracks that you sent me, and I was like,
Cheers.
cool, yeah, I can work with this. This goes with the more like gothic side of my gothic Celt thing that I've
Yeah,
got going on. But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but when you sent me the tracks, I was like, yeah, I'm down for this.
Oh,
It's like
oh,
it's different enough, but like from, what I've been doing recently, but it's not too far off, from what I'm
yeah,
doing also. So it's, and it's the same thing with like a couple other music groups I'm with, like, because I'm
yeah.
also with like a tavern music group, Wayward Companions they're called. I'm also with like a harp and voice duo, which is called Celtic Spirit.
Right.
It's and that's kind of like very mystical, like Celtic music and everything. So,
Yeah,
and they're like, see, okay, those are two examples of, okay, kind of different from, a little bit different from the music I'm making, but still in the same vein, so it's not like
yeah.
too far off. So if I cross promote them on my pages and everything, people aren't going to be like, what, but you make like Taylor Swift type music and you're doing black metal now, what?
I mean, I can't.
you know
Yeah, I mean, I can't set my nose up at Taylor Swift's music. She's done some good tracks actually, but saying, I've kind of found Sophia Asella recently, and she
Mm,
supported her or was a special guest. And I think Sophia Asella is probably one of the most exciting singers, musicians around
yeah.
now. I think she's taken a lot away from Lana Del Rey. Even though I love Lana Del Rey, I think that Sophia Asella is so dark, a lot of the
Yeah.
music, and it's so sparse. It's way beyond
Hmm.
a kind of gothic thing. It goes somewhere different.
Hmm.
Um, I just think she's just a youngster, but she's a genius.
Yeah.
Amazing voice. The voice is so fucking good.
Yeah.
But the construction of the music is really, really good. And I was very impressed.
Yeah.
And I only kind of found the music recently, about a month ago, and I
Hmm.
can't stop listening to it. I just think it's really good. So again, that's good inspiration as well. I find all
Yeah.
that stuff inspiring. That people are doing it. So, I think she's very
Hmm.
good. But
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I do like Taylor Swift's Reputation album. I like that one. And
Right, yeah.
yeah, even her more recent one, it's it's like her more recent one. It's Life of a Showgirl, I think it's called. There's
Okay.
like, I like Fate of Ophelia. I think that's a really good song. Also another song, Elizabeth Taylor, that's also on that album. So
Right.
she has some good stuff. And
She's
because
great.
yeah, she does have some good stuff. And because it's funny, because when I did my episode with Zach of the goth gym Death Comes Lifting, which is like
Oh
not too
yeah.
from where I live. Yeah, like they do on April Fool's Day, they do Taylor Swift yoga, which I think is absolutely, that's brilliant, because they're like this kind of gothic, very metal themed and everything. And April Fool's Day, they do Taylor Swift yoga. I'm like, that is just the most brilliant thing, one of the most
That's
brilliant like
good. Yeah.
business models, or hey, just
Yeah.
just overall, that that I've seen in like, you know, at least a couple of years. I was like, I like that, you know, and I like that, you know, when somebody can kind of like laugh at themselves like that and, you know, just have fun and like not care about what, you know, what people
That's a
think.
good
And
thing, though. It's a
yeah,
good thing, you know.
absolutely.
It's a good
Absolutely.
thing. I think
Mm-hmm.
that Taylor is, you know, I've always been a fan of Madonna, love Madonna,
Mm-hmm.
and you need someone new. And when Taylor Swift first come
Yeah.
up and, you know, just reached these huge levels of world domination, like the
Mm-hmm.
biggest thing on the planet,
Yeah.
I was really happy about that because,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Lana's great, made
Mm-hmm.
some phenomenal albums, some phenomenal
Mm-hmm.
tracks, but she was always going to be confined. There was going to be someone bigger who was
Right.
really going to come along and almost go over Lady Gaga, go over Madonna, someone who
Mm-hmm.
really is going to take it somewhere. And I think that
Yeah.
Taylor Swift does that, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
she is Marmite for a lot of people. I understand that, but
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of respect for her because
Mm-hmm.
she's just going out there and doing it continuously. And
Yeah. Gotta
don't
respect the
matter how
hustle,
much,
you know? So,
yeah, it
yeah.
doesn't matter how much money
Mm-hmm.
people are worth. I think what people miss is, you know, if you get up on stage and sing, no matter how
Mm-hmm.
good you are, it's fucking difficult. I've sang in front of crowds before and
Oh,
played
yeah.
drums, and it is so difficult to sing in front of an audience. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, even the good sort of singers fuck up, you know, no matter who
Mm-hmm.
they are. But
Yeah.
people like Taylor Swift, Barbra Streisand, they've got really good voices and they
Mm-hmm.
can kind of kick it live, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Where Madonna, maybe she could kick it live once, but
Yeah.
I don't know right
Yeah.
now. But I feel sorry for her, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's people that are, you know, vocalists, and then there's people that are more performers than they are vocalists, you know. So,
Yeah, yeah, I
mm-hmm.
think Taylor Swift's got that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
completely. You know, just when Lady Gaga was getting massive and huge, Taylor Swift come along and just like nicked it and then just
Mm-hmm.
run off and then become like the biggest on the planet, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, she's so famous, I'm sure even fucking aliens know who she is. So I think that's, but good on her, you know.
Mm-hmm.
She's put some diverse stuff out there and she gives other
Yeah.
people, you know, so if you hear her sell it, hasn't even got an album out. She's only got EPs out, and she's a
Mm-hmm.
special guest on that tour.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's amazing. You can have someone,
Mm-hmm.
a special guest to Taylor Swift, who's just got EPs out. It doesn't
Yeah.
really, it's bizarre, isn't it, in this day and age?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have to have an album out anymore. You can
No.
just put EPs
Mm-hmm.
out and just
Yeah.
get your stuff around that
Sometimes
way.
that's cheaper, you know? It's
Yeah,
like,
no, and it's
yeah.
the experience is more instant with an EP,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
other than wading through an album, you know,
Right.
just going through 4 or 5 tracks. I think that's a really
Mhm.
good format.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it can definitely be.
Yeah.
And yeah, so with Beyond Mamushi and, you know, and like your other music, like where can people find all of that?
Um, on Instagram, there's Beyond Mamushi Film. Um, on TikTok, which is quite recent, I think it's Beyond Mamushi Film 1. Uh, and there's nothing on Facebook at all, you know. So it's only those two. It's only Instagram and TikTok.
Okay.
And we're also doing another screening on the
Mhm.
19th of September
Nice.
in at the Luminaire Cinema, the same as what we did in February, which
Hmm.
is in Romford in London, and it's sold out. So I don't
Nice.
know why I'm plugging it because it's sold out.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm sure there'll be a wait list if people cancel tickets. I don't know, but you know,
Hmm.
and other people got a chance to sort of see
Yeah.
this film on the big screen. So I'm
Hmm.
kind of showing it one more time
Hmm.
myself, you know, putting it on at the cinema. But I don't think I'll do it again. I think twice is enough. That's cool, you know, and it's, you know, the first one was great, and I hope the upcoming one's going to be great as well.
Hmm.
The soundtrack comes out on Note for Note Music, which I signed a contract with recently,
Nice. Yeah.
and it comes out digitally, and it also
Hmm.
comes out in October
Cool.
physically on Misanthropia Records, which is out of Finland, on like
Hmm.
an 8-page booklet CD. and it comes out on DVD, Beyond Mamushi, as a 100
Yeah.
press in October. That's the plan, and we're going to
Mhm.
film
For
interviews
Halloween.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it would be nice, around that
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
And we're going to film interviews with the cast and myself and the elusive Nikolai, maybe some other crew members and stuff.
Mhm.
If everybody's around at the same time. So we're doing that as the extras, and we can do
Mhm.
videos on the photo gallery that are spoilers because obviously it's a
Mhm.
DVD,
Of
so we can
course,
get
yeah.
we can get away with just fucking spoiling it for people. So
Yeah.
it's kind of easy. So I'm kind of doing that to keep the film's head above water, really,
Mhm.
and not let it like disappear. But I think possibly it will keep in at festivals. I'm still, submitting it to festivals, and that'll be the way for the next year and a half
Mhm.
until it will hopefully be on Prime.
Yeah.
Which Lizzie Head is on Prime at the moment. So
Mhm.
hopefully Beyond Mamushi will be on Prime again. But
Yeah.
hey, I'm not gonna bank on that. I'm not gonna assume that Prime are gonna do it, but they may
Yeah.
do. Who knows? Who knows? I hope so.
Yeah. There's also, I think that I think it's newer. It's called Bloodstream, which is like a horror, horror movie.
Right.
It does have, um you can, like, as an independent filmmaker and creator, like upload, you can like get like a creator's account and, you know
Wow.
put your,
Cool.
get your film on there too. So yeah,
Yeah,
and I
that's really
think,
good.
yeah, I think they, I saw, because they accept, I think, like, feature length, obviously, but then also shorts, and, I
Yeah.
think they do have a section for micro films as well, and
Ah, good.
as well as like web series and everything. So that might be like worth looking into also. So
How do the microfilms work? It's just like you watch them and that's it, right? It's like 90
yeah.
seconds or 10 seconds. It's
But
like,
hey, it's like
you
if you're
know,
on lunch break and you need that little horror
yeah,
film fix, just okay, watch this this microfilm.
yeah. I've not seen one. I think I've seen one that short before, so I'm kind of interested to see how many ideas or what they can pack into that
Yeah.
sort of limited time space, especially one really good idea, and it's
Hmm.
like 15 seconds. It's like, wow, that would be interesting. So, and the
Yeah.
production value must be quite good for that.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I'm kind of interested now. I don't know if I'd ever do that myself.
Yeah.
I think my bank account and the cast and crew will be really happy if I did that. It's like, can we just like turn up for an afternoon
One
and do
day
it?
and yeah.
Yeah, we'll just do it Monday afternoon, and that's it.
Yeah.
We're all done, and the soundtrack's like, I don't know, 10 seconds, just like easy. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool. I'll look into that, and
Mhm.
so who knows? They may take it, or Prime may take it, or
Yeah.
it's just who knows. It's just quite a way off yet until we
Hmm.
get to that stage because, as you
Yeah.
know from festivals, it gets
Hmm.
disqualified if they find out
Yeah.
that you're poking around behind their backs and like
Right. Yeah.
sticking it
Sometimes
on.
festivals can be strict like that. Like they
Yeah,
don't want it streaming while
streaming.
they're, which is understandable because they want
Yeah,
people to attend to see, ooh, we want to see this cool new film that I haven't seen yet.
yeah. I stick by the rules. I've been doing the kind of the festivals for quite a few years. So I've always stuck by the rules, and I just want to do that. I don't see any point in going behind
Mhm.
their backs and then putting it on streaming when you're not meant to. So yeah, I always stick by doing this, and I like the festival thing, and it's good to get good feedback from festivals. Obviously, it's great to
Mhm.
win and get
Yeah.
trophies, and the cast to get trophies.
Mhm.
Um, and obviously, when you get refused in the early days, it's kind of a kick in the teeth. But once you've
Mhm.
got refused 10, 15 times in the early days, you just look at it
Mhm.
and delete the email now. It doesn't mean anything. So, you get to that stage after all
Mhm.
those years. And it's about
Yeah.
8 years now, I think, is the festivals that I've
Mhm.
been in with my films. So it's been
Yeah.
quite a way now. So you learn to be, what's the word? Resilient. Yeah, more resilient.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, very cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on for the third time,
Yeah,
like I said in
I
the
know.
beginning. Yeah, because well, what happened, for those listening that don't know the story, what happened was we actually did like 2 interviews, and for whatever reason, the podcasting app wasn't compatible with something. So we tried good old fashioned Zoom this time. So fingers crossed, you'll be listening to this soon. So
Yeah, I mean, we're well rehearsed for it anyway. We've done it twice already.
yes. Hey, we'll call those those other 2 rehearsal runs. So.
Exactly. Even though I spoke about something completely different on either both of those, or, completely
Yeah.
different. But that's just the way it goes. Everybody changes day by
Totally.
day, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can't remember what I spoke about. I remember I spoke about disco music being an influence
You,
on this
you,
film.
I do remember something about disco music, how you're also
Yeah.
influenced by metal music as well as disco music.
Yeah, we went over that, which we didn't touch at all today, and I completely forgot about. But
No,
I mean, that was then, and you kind of depends what day you're on. Obviously, that's what it is.
really is. Yeah, but who knows? Maybe this was the best one out of all of them. So
It
that's what,
was.
said the podcasting gods maybe were like, nope, you guys could do better than that.
No, I don't think they're going to put us in a fourth time. I think they'll kind. I think this will work. I've got that feeling that this is going to work. So
Yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you so much. And yes, everybody, watch for Beyond Mamushi, if it's coming to a festival near you, or whenever it starts streaming. Definitely keep me posted on that, Martin, and I'll
yeah,
definitely
we'll do
keep
definitely.
my listeners and stuff posted on that as well, as well as your music and like the music
Yeah,
project that we're doing. I'll obviously be keeping everybody posted on that, on my Gothic Celt page, as well as on my podcasting page as well.
cool.
So yeah, but I'm looking forward to that. So all right, well, thank you so much, and hopefully, fingers crossed, third time's a charm and Zoom won't fail us. So
It should be fine.
yeah. So, all right. But everybody, thank you so much for listening. My podcast has been getting a surge in listeners and everything. So, which really means a lot to me. This is definitely something I really enjoy doing. I love talking to people, and, or sometimes just getting on and just doing a solo thing, to talk about something that's on my heart. So, but thank you so much for listening. Thank you again, Martin, for coming on. And
Pleasure.
just remember, everybody, please stay safe, stay fierce, but of course, stay spooky. All right. Bye.
Bye. That should work now.
Woo!